This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
Will.
And I'm the guest.
Stock photo. This is Throwback Thursday. We're going to talk to you about the PSP Go.
The Power Glove.
The original Switch. This video is getting better the longer we go. Okay, so just bear with me. We're going to have this guy up for a second because I want to show the dock. See if I can find it. This guy talks too much.
Mel Jesus did a video on this
There we
too
go.
recently.
So if you look at this, oh, there we go. That dock in the video that you see, because I don't own one. I would show you guys if I owned it, but I don't. It essentially turns the PSP Go into a console, and it, just like the Switch does, right? So when you dock the thing in, you can pull out a Bluetooth DualShock 3 controller and play PSP games on your TV. It's pretty cool. They kind of implemented a similar system with the Vita, where they made the PS TV so you could put Vita games into a plastic box and play them on your TV. And originally, the Vita was supposed to have an output that could plug into the TV, but they actually didn't put the hardware in correctly. And if you actually tried to use the port, which Sony does not recommend, I don't recommend it either, you will burn up your PS Vita and it will no longer work. So don't do that.
That's terrible. Okay.
So the PSP Go was originally released on October 1st, 2009, 1 decade ago. It had no ability to play the PSP UMDs, which was a major drawback for a lot of people. But since so many people hacked the PSP, it ended up not being a problem. And basically, what I just described, it had the ability to dock and play on a TV, which makes it kind of the father, grandfather, whatever you want to call it, of the Switch concept. PSP games, on the other hand, the highest output quality they had was component video. So you're not getting like HD. You're getting like 480p to somewhere sub 720p when you plug it in. So, did you ever own a PSP Go, Trevor, Will? Either of you guys?
Nope, I never owned any PlayStation mobile product.
Never?
Nope, never.
Well, I mean, that video right there, you can see the PSP Go next to the Switch. It's like far, far, far smaller.
Yeah,
But
it's considerably smaller. The whole thing can fit within the screen of the Switch.
it's actually pocketable. Unlike some
I
of
didn't
the-
have a PSP Go, but I did have the original PSP. I think you have it now, Chris.
Yes, I do.
And I actually remember when the PSP Go came out. I remember thinking it was really stupid for a couple reasons. One, I thought, I mean, why is it getting smaller? I want like the bigger screen of the PSP was cooler for me, and not being able to play the physical media. But I feel like this was just ahead of its time. If this, and obviously this concept is working really well now, but at the time, I don't think it sold particularly well. Or am I wrong on that?
The PSP Go? Yeah, it didn't
Yeah.
sell very well at all. I was going to show you guys, there's a really weird adapter for the original PSP, because the first PSP, they never had a chance to put it together and allow you to output to your TV. So they released this. This is it, I think. Yeah, so basically this thing would take the image physically off the screen and output the screen to a TV.
Yeah, that's
Can you
pretty
imagine
intense.
buying this adapter and trying to play the PSP on your TV? Like, why? That's just, yeah, I can't. So the PSP Go was released in 2009. It was released with the concept of remote play with the PS3. And there are a few games that are... What the heck? This is a PSP commercial? Oh, okay.
Yeah, play it right next to the pool. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, not a bad idea at all. None of these people are gamers. Why would you make this... Okay. I'm not going to keep talking about this. Essentially, though, it had the ability to remote play before remote play was really a thing. And it advertised itself as a video player, which you just saw, which I don't know who was doing PSP videos when you had like the iPhone and Android at the time, which would have been a much better experience watching videos on the go, but it had the ability to do so. It did have expandable memory, so if you got PSN titles, you could add them to your PSP Go. But I think this concept would have worked a lot better had they had cards for games instead of the UMD format.
Yeah.
I agree.
Which is what the Switch did. But, yeah, so UMDs... And the reason why Sony went with UMD... This is a weird channel. Yeah, we're not going to watch this one. I mean, the UMDs were kind of fragile. Trevor, you never owned it, but the casing around the discs themselves was not very... Here, I'll just grab one.
It's kind of like you stuck a CD disc, and because it was too fragile, you had to put it in a bubble suit so it wouldn't hurt itself.
Yeah, I mean, basically that's what it is. When you look, this is the UMD format.
And that concept of taking such an easily damageable media, that made it perfect for portability and travel.
Oh, not at all. But I think you knew that when you were being sarcastic. Yeah, I mean, these are not... It's not a good idea. The only reason that you do this is because at the time, there's no small cartridge format that can physically store the amount of data that a disc can. And that's why you have to use UMDs.
I might be making something up here, and in fact I am making something up. But do you think it had to do with the fact that that might have been some type of Sony proprietary technology that Sony executives insisted the PSP use, rather than, say, some cartridge-based format that Sony would have had to license from a competitor?
I mean, they invented their own cartridge format for the Vita, so I mean, they had the technology. And Sony really pioneered a lot of different cartridge formats, like the memory stick. But I see what you're saying, and yes, the UMD was a proprietary Sony media source. And the whole point of it was to create a smaller DVD player so that you could basically manufacture discs for cheaper. But because of that protective case, it ended up not really being that much cheaper, and nobody wanted to pay Sony for the licensing.
Think of how much smaller you could have made a portable DVD player.
Yeah, I mean, probably. But you had the UMD movies.
Investing in a technology to make small DVDs certainly was not a mistake on Sony's part at the advent of widestream Wi-Fi and internet streaming services.
Yeah, they're about as successful as Blockbuster. But yeah, so that's it. The PSP Go had no ability to play the PSP games, so it was kind of a flop when it came to the market. It didn't sell very well, but it kind of is the Switch beta because it had the ability to dock.
It was a cool idea, not implemented very well, and we've seen Nintendo pick up that good idea and actually implement it much better. So.
Yeah, I would agree. That's definitely the case. So this is the CHRILLCAST on Throwback Thursday covering the PSP Go, or in other words, the Switch beta. I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
I'm the guest.
And we will catch you
on the next CHRILLCAST.
Tomorrow night.